Well, hello, boys and girls. It's when I feel like at o'clock, and it's when I feel like it. That's why I do things. That's why I do everything. That's why I don't have cameras and money and all of those things like that either, but it's a great philosophy nonetheless. I'm Pearl of Wisdom, and you're listening to my NHL Pearls of Wisdom. The only thing I can offer you at a very low rate, free, completely free. It'd have to be, because, yeah. Anyways, what it was, oh yes, we wanted to talk about Shattenkirk, didn't we, with all the letters that you've sent me. And we love your letters, by the way. Send your letters. We go down to the mailroom and we pick a sack, get the sack of letters, and we go to the letter table and we throw them all over the table, and there's much frolic. So yeah, send them. Send all your letters. Shattenkirk is bought out by the New York Rangers. I predicted this would happen. If you go into my previous, I think I was talking about Gardner, and I thought that they would buy out Shattenkirk and give Gardner a contract. I thought that was a possibility. So you might want to look at that if you haven't already. I don't know why you wouldn't have watched it already. Maybe you got hit in the head the last couple days and were in the hospital or something. That's possible. If that's the case, then go ahead and do so if you could. Well, I don't even have to tell you. You're going to be rushing there right now. After you watch this video, of course. Okay, so places for Shattenkirk to go. First of all, he was bought out. He was making 6.5 for like, what, 4 or 5 years or something like that. Cost the New York Rangers an awful lot. He's probably going to be hoping and maybe be able to get somewhere in the 2 million, 2 something, just to make up. Because when you buy somebody out, you buy out 2/3 of their contract. So you get 2/3 of your contract, and it's paid out over a longer term. So I'm pretty sure he wants to, because he's been planning. I've got 6.5 mil for the next 7 years. Now what am I going to do? Jeez, I'm going to be short 2 mil for the next however many years. So I'm sure he's going to want to recoup that, just to be able to make sure he can pay the rent. You know what I mean? So who do we got here that can do that sort of thing? Well, there's a couple teams. First of all, I would say the Winnipeg Jets would be the first one on the phone. They've lost pretty much their whole defensive. They lost Trouba, for one thing, from the Rangers. And they lost Sherratt to Montreal. And basically their right side right now is Sami Niku, Neil Pionk, and Dustin Byfuglien. Not what I would call stellar. Although Neil Pionk, it's going to be really interesting to see what he's going to do. Now, they've got cap room, but they've got to sign Laine. How much cap room do they have at this moment? They have 17 million. They got to sign Laine and they got to sign Connor. So it's not going to leave them too much, but I think 2 million they might be able to handle that. Now the thing with Shattenkirk is Shattenkirk is a guy you really want going towards the offensive zone, but really don't want coming back. He's really not a good defensive player. Even at 6.5 million, I really didn't understand that contract. He's just so poor defensively. However, he's a great possession player. He spends a lot of time in the offensive zone, which is great. Problem is even before, when St. Louis decided they weren't going to re-sign him again, for some reason there's been issues with Shattenkirk. He didn't look good in Washington, and he went to New York, and he didn't fit well with the coach there. Quinn didn't seem to be, and he just seems to be on a heavy decline, and he's not really all that old to be on a heavy decline. He's like 30. It's a scary choice, but I think Winnipeg would have to choose it. Here's the problem. Winnipeg, because I'm going to talk, I'll bring this up after. Another team would be New Jersey Devils. The New Jersey Devils still could use some help on the blue line. The problem that I would have, they have some cap room, they got to sign Hall, but I think they would still have the cap room to fit them in. Problem is, they've got Will Butcher and PK Subban already on this lineup. Will Butcher is not what you'd call great defensively. So PK Subban's better defensively than people give him credit for, but he takes a lot of risks. You've got a lot of very risky players on your team, is what I'm trying to say. If they were to sign him, I think they might give him a one-year contract. With Winnipeg, they may be willing to give him 2. Now, the other team I was looking at on here, and I think is the most likely, would be the Edmonton Oilers. The Edmonton Oilers have a little bit of cap room. They got about $2.4 million, but they could do some things to gain cap room. They could possibly buy out Brendan Manning to save themselves another $1 million. They could. Oh wait, are they able to? You're only allowed to have 3 buyouts people at 1 year, and Pouliot, Greiba, and Andrei Sekharov. So maybe not. But they are going to send Brendan Manning down. That'll give them more cap room. They could waive Matthew Benning if they're going to bring him in, and they could give him $2 million at the same rate as Matthew Benning. Benning would likely get picked up at $2 million. He's only 25 years old. He has some upside, but at this point, if you look at the numbers, and I was going to get this with Shattenkirk, Matthew Benning's the same type of player as Shattenkirk, except he doesn't have the offense. Even though Shattenkirk's offense has declined, I'm an Oilers fan, and let me say, it saddens me that I would be excited if they were to do something like this. Just imagine being excited by getting a player that looks like he's on the decline for $2 million a year, just because he's a lot better than anything else you have, such as Brendan Manning, Matthew Benning. I don't mean anybody else. I mean, there are players that are better than him on the Oilers lineup, but he would probably slot into the top 4, depending on what Bouchard does. So, I would give him a shot if I were the Edmonton Oilers. Here's the problem. The Edmonton Oilers, and get this, the Edmonton Oilers apparently tried to trade Hall to the St. Louis Blues for Shattenkirk, and Shattenkirk nixed the deal. It was a done deal, and Shattenkirk said, nay, I'm not going to Edmonton. So it's quite possible that he may say that again, assuming he has other options. I think the other options out there are very sparse. Why would he not want to go to Edmonton? It might have been at the time, though, that Edmonton was just shit. Edmonton was a shit team. It may not have to do with the fact that it's very cold there. It's a small market, same as Winnipeg. It may not have to do with that. So I would say the 2 big teams that would have most need and most likely want him would be Winnipeg and Edmonton. So both of those teams are, the Edmonton Oilers could be a playoff team this year. It's possible. They've got McDavid and so on and so forth like that. He may look at their future and go, okay, it's better now. I can go there. Winnipeg, on the other hand, has been a playoff team the last couple of years. Shattenkirk may look at that team and go, okay, they have been a playoff team. Yes, I think I can help them. Either way, both of them can give him a 2-year contract. I think that's the most he'll likely get, but I think it'll be between the 2, and I'm hoping it's the Oilers, but my gut says it'll be Winnipeg. That's my full 42%. That's all I have to give. Have a great day, and lots of love to you. Hit the subscribe button and all that.